A searing pain tore through my gut, and everything went black. Seconds earlier, I'd been standing near a fruit stand, checking my phone. Then, on impulse, I turned on a live stream and began cramming mangoes into my mouth like a madman. The chat went wild. Has this guy lost it? Look at the stall owner's face. He's really doing this for clout? Viewers multiplied fast. Someone even called the police. 10 minutes later, right on cue, I dropped to the ground, twitching and foaming at the mouth. In my previous life, I had been branded a monster. They said I raped and murdered a student. My girlfriend, Mia, handed over a video of me dragging the girl inside. My parents claimed they had heard screams coming from my room. Their words sealed my fate. 20 years behind bars. I never understood why. When I finally returned home, they welcomed me with dinner. Then I woke up dead. A ghost reading the headline, Evan Cross, guilty, commits suicide. And now, somehow, I was back. Back to the night it all began. Fine. If they wanted a criminal, I'd give them one, but one they couldn't convict. I'd give myself a perfect alibi, even if it meant landing in ER. As the world faded, the comments on my stream shifted from mockery to panic. He's not faking, he's allergic. His lips are swelling, he can't breathe. That's anaphylaxis. Someone call 911. The fruit vendor's fury turned into pure terror. He stumbled back, trembling, his eyes wide as if I were something unholy. Sticky mango pulp coated my fingers, and the sweetness in my mouth tasted like poison. One thought burned through the chaos. Even if I die, I'll drag every last one of them down with me. The sound of approaching sirens was almost beautiful. Paramedics rushed in. The vendor crouched beside me, gripping my hand, voice shaking. Kid, whatever's eating you, it's not worth this. If you die, I'll never sell another mango again. His words hit harder than the pain. A stranger I'd met seconds ago showed me more compassion than anyone I'd ever loved. The irony stung. I squeezed his hand weakly. Sir, please just keep the stream going. Don't stop. All the way to the hospital. In the confusion, I slipped his small paring knife into my pocket. The chat spiraled, with mixed reactions. Don't pay his bills, old man. This is insane. Wait, isn't that Evan from accounting? He's always so quiet, what's going on? That last comment cut deep. In my past life, the only people who defended me were my coworkers. I'd been arrested right after clocking out, thinking it'd all get cleared up quickly. Then my father showed up in the cell. His first words were, "Just confess, Evan." He looked at me with weary disgust. "Stop being stubborn. I can't protect you anymore." I couldn't even speak. Detective Miller, the officer in charge, had grabbed me by the collar, veins bulging. "You sick bastard." She was just 18. She hadn't even started college. Every piece of evidence fit too perfectly. Mia even handed over proof, that cursed video. Back in the present, the fruit seller hesitated, still holding my phone. I clung to it like a lifeline, glaring at the paramedics who were closing in. "If you turn off that stream, I'm not going anywhere," I shouted. When two of them tried to restrain me, I drew the knife from my pocket, hands shaking but firm. "Touch me, and I'll end it right here." The comments exploded. "What the hell is happening? He looks serious. Evan's getting married next week. Why would he do this? Wait, that's the vendor's knife." A police car screeched to a stop nearby. The man who stepped out made my blood run cold. Detective Miller. He walked forward with that same look, part concern, part command. "Son," he said evenly, "let's talk this out. Don't do something you can't undo." The déjà vu made me sick. This was the same man who'd ruined me before. The fruit vendor panicked. "Kid, fine. I'll keep streaming, okay? Just drop the knife." I looked around, every camera trained on me, every breath caught in the air. "I don't trust anyone," I said, my voice shaking. "Stream everything. Until I'm at the hospital." The viewer count hit 20 million. The man nodded, taking the phone. I finally let the paramedics lift me onto the stretcher. Inside the ambulance, the chat was exploding with wild theories. My phone rang. The vendor showed me the screen. It was my father. "Evan," he barked, his tone cutting and cold. "You've shamed me enough. If you're set on dying, do it quietly. Stop humiliating this family." He didn't wait for me to answer. "Apologize publicly, or don't bother coming home." Then, he hung up. The live stream audience was split. Some praised my father for being principled, while others called him a heartless man who'd failed his son. Detective Miller, seated across from me in the ambulance, muttered under his breath, "That's one hell of a father." His comment stung more than the 4 in my arm. I turned toward him, words rising like bile in my throat, but I swallowed them. Who would believe me anyway? The man in that video was me, down to every detail. The footage had been authenticated by experts. My parents had sworn under oath that it was real. And what kind of parents would lie to destroy their own child? Miller's gaze lingered on me, thoughtful. Maybe he sensed something, maybe not. I thought of a girl, the college freshman whose face still haunted my dreams. My memories of that night were fuzzy, but one fragment stood out. I motioned for him to come closer. He leaned in. I whispered a few words into his ear. He jerked upright, so fast his head struck the roof of the ambulance. His face went pale, voice suddenly sharp. "Are you serious?" I nodded. "Let's see them try to set me up this time." In the hospital, the rhythmic drip of the 4 marked the seconds like a ticking clock. The live stream was still running, though most viewers had already grown bored. "Fake drama," one wrote. "Another attention seeker." Yawn. Next. It didn't matter. I already had what I wanted, 20 million witnesses. Then I noticed the time on my phone, 8:31 p.m. That cursed number. The same moment captured in the so-called proof. In the video, that was when I dragged the girl into my apartment, shouting vile things. If I'd had more time before reliving this night, maybe I could have planned something smarter. But desperate men do desperate things. Neither my parents nor Mia came to see me. The fruit seller who had stuck by me gave me a sympathetic smile. "Kid, maybe they're just busy. Don't let it eat you up. You want something to eat? Busy? Sure." Even after they'd poisoned me in my last life, I told myself they were being blackmailed, that it wasn't their choice. But they had cremated my body the same night and fed the press a story about suicide. There was no conspiracy, only betrayal. "You can stop streaming," I told the vendor quietly. He fumbled with the phone. But before he could end the broadcast, it rang. A stern voice barked through the speaker. "This is Detective Miller. Is Evan cross-conscious? Put him on." Of course he was watching. I ignored the phone and stared directly into the camera lens. "Detective Miller," I said with a faint, knowing smile. "I know what you're wondering. You'll have your answer soon enough." Then I ended the stream, leaving millions of viewers screaming in the comments. Miller's voice still carried through the line, low and furious. If he knew what was going to happen, why didn't he stop it? She was only 18. Her whole life was ahead of her. I finished for him, my tone disturbingly calm. That was his favorite line back then. During every interrogation, he'd spit it at me like an accusation. My own life had been just starting too. I'd finally cleared my debts, saved for a house, and bought an engagement ring for Mia. And then, overnight, they'd torn everything away and thrown me into a cage. Even then, I hadn't hated them. I'd come out of prison ready to forgive, to live quietly. I never imagined they'd rather see me dead. "Detective," I said softly, eyes stinging. "Today's my birthday." I hung up before he could answer. Turning to the fruit seller, I forced a smile. "Sir, could I have a bowl of noodles?" He stood instantly, ready to fetch it himself, then hesitated. Instead, he pulled out his phone and handed it to me. "Here, order whatever you like. It's my treat. I hope from here on out, life gets a little easier for you." Last time around, I'd been too busy working to even notice my birthday. 4 days later, I was arrested. The hospital room was dim, but for the first time in years, the light didn't feel cold. The vendor watched me eat, eyes glistening. "My daughter just got into college," he said with quiet pride. "She's out there delivering food right now, saving money for tuition." My hand froze halfway to my mouth. The girl who died, she'd been a food delivery worker too. Coincidence? I doubted it. "She sounds like a good kid," I said softly. "Better than me. Brave." Later that night, after my 4 finished, I slipped out of the hospital. The fruit vendor had rushed off after call, so I tucked all the cash I had into his coat pocket before leaving. When I unlocked my apartment door, the familiar scent hit me. Laundered sheets, clean floors, everything exactly as before. Mia was in bed, stirring. "You're back," she mumbled, half asleep. "You must be exhausted." She wrapped her arms around me. My whole body went rigid. This was the same woman who had handed my life over to the police with a single video. Still, I kissed her forehead as if nothing had changed and went to take a shower. What now? Later that night, after her breathing steadied, I took her phone and slipped out. My next stop was Leo's apartment, my best friend, the only one I still trusted. I banged on his door until he opened, groggy and confused. Evan? What the hell? I need this phone backed up, I said, shoving it into his hands. Everything to my cloud. Then install a tracker. He blinked. Dude, did Mia cheat on you or something? $5,000 if you do it fast, I snapped. If not, I'll find someone else. He threw up his hands. Alright, I'm on it. I crashed on his couch while he worked. By dawn, he handed it back. I checked. There's nothing weird on here. You're overthinking. Maybe he was right, but paranoia was all that kept me alive. The following days crawled by in uneasy silence. I drafted my will, signed it, and had it notarized. Everything I owned would go to charity after my death. 5 days later, it began again. Detective Miller walked into my office, uniform pressed, face tight with conflict. Evan Cross, he said, you're a suspect in a rape and murder case. Please come with us. I didn't resist. I just held out my wrists for the cuffs. The moment Miller cuffed me, the entire office fell silent. My coworkers froze, some backing away like I carried a contagion. After the mango incident, I was already skating on thin ice. It was a miracle my boss hadn't fired me. Detective Miller noticed the unease. His tone softened as he addressed my manager. Mr. Davis, he's just coming in for questioning. That doesn't make him guilty. That was new. In my previous life, Miller never bothered with fairness. The city sped past the car windows as I quietly told him everything that would unfold, how my parents would swear they'd heard screams, how Mia's video would surface again, how perfectly all the evidence would fit together. Detective, I said, you and I both know this is a setup. But if we can't find out why, maybe we can draw out the real culprit. Let's broadcast it all. The interrogation, the questions, everything. Whoever's behind this might slip up if they're watching. It was risky, but the logic was airtight. My hospital live stream had given me millions of witnesses. This time, I'd use the same stage. Miller thought for a long moment, then nodded. The second I stepped out of the car at the station, a hand struck my cheek with a sharp crack. My father. His face was twisted with fury. You disgrace, he shouted. Do you have any idea what you've done? Confess right now and beg forgiveness from that poor girl. Before I could react, his grip tightened on my ear, forcing me to face him. Then I saw who stood just behind him, the fruit stand owner. In my last life, I never once met the victim's family. Yet here he was, looking hollow-eyed and broken, as if he hadn't slept in days. His hands curled into fists, then relaxed. Slowly, he stepped forward, placing himself between me and my father. Enough, he said quietly. Let the police handle this. At that moment, the official police live stream went live. The comments flooded in instantly. Wait, is this the mango guy? No way, this is from a verified government channel. Why is the fruit seller there? Is he the victim's dad or something? The cameras turned on my parents, who instantly shrank from the spotlight. Detective Miller cleared his throat. This investigation contains inconsistencies, he said firmly. At present, I do not believe Mr. Cross is guilty. I can't reveal more yet. My mother staggered forward, clutching her chest. Oh, the shame of it all. I heard that poor girl screaming that night. But I was weak. I said nothing to protect my son. Her performance was award-worthy. Mia joined her, eyes blazing with false righteousness. Detective, you saw the footage. That monster raped and murdered her. You can't protect him. Watching them, I felt nothing. Just a cold, detached calm. I asked the question I never had the chance to ask before. Mom, Dad, Mia, why are you doing this? Why frame me? The live stream chat turned hostile in seconds. Liar. Murderer. Sick freak. Miller began to speak. The forensic analysis of the footage isn't finalized and I tugged lightly on his sleeve to stop him. The audience immediately twisted it into corruption. They accused him of taking bribes. Then the fruit stand owner's voice cut through the chaos. I believe him, he said, steady and sure. Something here doesn't add up. That single sentence changed everything. Confusion rippled across the audience. Wait, the victim's father believes Mango Guy. Why are the detective and the dad both defending him? Something's off. A man in a lab coat rushed out of a side door. Detective Miller, we've completed the preliminary analysis. The video is genuine. The chat exploded like a bomb. He's guilty. Execute him already. Fake live stream alibi, bet on it. But I didn't flinch. I asked one question. The timestamp on that video, 8:31 p.m., 5 days ago. Correct. The technician blinked, surprised. Why yes, that's right. Across the world, millions of viewers made the same connection at once. Wait a sec, 5 days ago? He was in the hospital then. I watched him almost die on stream. You can't be in two places at once. A thin smile curved my lips. On that night, I was being treated for an allergic reaction. There's medical footage, timestamps, witnesses. So tell me, how exactly could I have been home committing a crime? The color drained from my parents' faces. It was only for an instant, but the cameras caught it. My mother clutched her chest again. No, I heard your voice myself. Do you think I'd accuse my own son without certainty? My father sneered. You probably planned it. You went to that fruit stand after the crime, recorded yourself eating mangoes, and faked the timing. Don't insult our intelligence. He turned to Miller. I'll swear in court, the man in that video is my son. Every word he spoke was another nail in my coffin. I met his gaze and asked quietly, Dad, why don't you check your call log? Look at the time you phoned me that night. You've always been a liar, he snapped, turning away without checking. Mia stepped up next. Detective, the man in that footage is Evan. Even the way he moves, it's the same. Her voice trembled just enough to sound sincere, but I saw the calculation behind it. To defend whoever they were protecting, she'd destroy me again without hesitation. The audience was enthralled, but a few began to see through the cracks. Wait, he planned a hospital thing? But why would he risk his life just to fake an alibi? If he knew it was coming, that means someone set him up. Something's definitely wrong here. For the first time, doubt was spreading faster than hate. 3 possibilities remained. 1. The footage was fake. 2. My family and girlfriend were lying. 3. Aliens had tampered with everyone's memories. And as Sherlock Holmes once said, once you've ruled out the impossible, whatever's left, no matter how unlikely, must be the truth. Detective Miller's patience was running thin. He gestured toward an older man who had just entered the station. Dr. Albright, I need your expertise. This video doesn't add up. Then he turned back to my family, his voice sharp as glass. A girl is dead. If any of you are lying, now's the time to stop. They exchanged quick glances, confident that they had trapped me. Providing false testimony in a murder case carries heavy penalties, Miller warned. Mia stiffened, but my mother only tightened her grip on her arm. I'm just a good citizen telling the truth, she declared, loud enough for the cameras to catch every word. If I'm lying, may I never find peace in this life or the next. Her words cut like a blade. What kind of mother curses herself just to bury her son? The live chat went wild. Something's off. Are there 2 Evans or what? This whole thing feels staged. I swear this is turning into a mystery show. I was starting to ask myself the same thing. In both timelines, I had always been an only child. So, why did everything point otherwise? Dr. Albright returned a few minutes later, holding a folder. The video's real, he said gravely. Timestamp confirms it was recorded 5 days ago, 8:31 p.m. No edits, no AI involvement, unless. He trailed off, his eyes narrowing thoughtfully as he looked at me. Every camera, every viewer, leaned closer to the screen. Dr. Albright's gaze softened. Son, could you take a few steps for me? I hesitated, but did as asked. He observed quietly, then turned toward my parents. His words were calm, but they hit like a thunderclap. You have another child, don't you? A twin brother. One who suffered serious brain trauma when he was young. The silence was deafening. My parents' denial came instantly, almost rehearsed. That's absurd. Evan is our only son. But the damage was done. Their panic was clear to everyone watching. The chat exploded again. The doctor caught that just from how he walks? Genius. A hidden twin? This is wild. This family drama is darker than any show on TV. I let out a hollow laugh and turned away, but the sound of knees hitting the floor stopped me. My parents and Mia were kneeling. My mother's sobs filled the air. Evan, please do it for him. He didn't mean to hurt her. You know he can't survive prison. Please, my son, just take his place, just this once. My father's voice followed, harsh and unyielding. This is the only time I'll ever ask you for anything. Take responsibility, be a man. This whole mess started because of you anyway. Then Mia spoke, her tears glistening under the harsh fluorescent light. I'm pregnant, Evan, she whispered. With your child. If you walk away, I'll never forgive you. Even the viewers online couldn't stomach it. With a family like that, who needs enemies? So, now they want him to sacrifice himself? Unbelievable. He was in the hospital dying, and none of them cared, but now they need him again? And just like that, their masks began to crack for the world to see. The terrifying part was realizing how close I'd come to losing everything. If not for the live stream, if not for all those witnesses, I would already be serving a sentence for crimes I never committed. I stared at my parents, my voice flat and hollow. You don't need me anymore. So, why would I go to prison for someone else's mistake? My father's fury erupted. He slapped me hard enough to make my vision blur. This all started because of you. That fire you set ruined everything. If you still see me as your father, you'll confess and end this now. I just looked at him, numb. How could a man say something so cruel in front of millions, in front of the police? Was I even his child? Detective Miller's tone was ice cold. All three of you are now under suspicion for aiding a fugitive and obstructing justice. I advise full cooperation. I gave a bitter laugh. The one they were so desperate to protect, the real culprit, was probably watching this live broadcast. I wondered if he'd ever step forward for them the way they did for him. Then Miller's phone rang. His expression shifted from exhaustion to cautious relief. She's regained consciousness? That's incredible. For a moment, the weight on my chest lifted. My second chance had changed something, at least, I'd managed to save someone. But then Miller's voice darkened. We need to revisit the case from 20 years ago. The fire? Your younger son, he didn't die, did he? Younger son? Pain lanced through my skull like lightning. My parents' faces hardened into masks of stone. My father lunged, but officers restrained him. The hatred in his eyes was blistering. The chat was in chaos. Wait, are they talking about that apartment fire years ago? Wasn't that caused by some kid trying to cover up a theft? I heard the boy died in that fire. Is this the same guy? People were already rewriting my past. I stumbled into the restroom, splashed water on my face, and stared into the mirror. A voice from the depths of my fractured memory whispered, Evan, let's grab some stuff from Mrs. Gable's place. She's got that new Spider-Man figure. No, Aiden, I don't want to. Coughing, smoke, heat. Don't worry, Evan. She snitched on me, so I'm teaching her a lesson. My name's not Aiden Cross if I don't. No. Aiden, stop. You'll burn the whole place down. I remember the fever that had wiped away my childhood. But now it came rushing back, the fire, the screams. It wasn't me who lit that flame. It was him. So, why had the blame fallen on me? Why had the world been told Aiden died? I remembered the small things too. My mother always giving him the extra egg, saving the best food for him, dressing me in his old clothes. He got the new toys. I got the leftovers. I texted Leo, need a huge favor. Now. When I returned, my voice was shaking, but clear. Mom, Dad, it was Aiden who started that fire. I didn't even own a lighter. My father sneered. Liar. Aiden told us you stole his lighter and set the blaze yourself. And he never lies, my mother added coldly. Unlike you, who's been trouble since birth. I started to laugh. A jagged, broken sound that didn't feel human. My mother mistook my laughter for surrender. She leaned in and whispered, Your brother took the blame for you back then. He's lived his whole life crippled because of it. Can't you at least do this one thing for him now? Her voice turned sharp. Besides, the man in the video is you. Aiden's gone. He's dead. She thought the body cam was just a recording device, not realizing millions were still watching. Mia stepped forward, voice shrill and shaking. Evan, you destroyed Aiden's life once. Are you going to do it again? I turned to her, stunned. I'm your fiancé, Mia. Why are you defending a man you don't even know? Her face turned crimson. My mother answered for her, her tone dripping with contempt. You fool. Mia was meant for Aiden. You were just supposed to look after them both. The words hit like ice water. Even if Aiden hadn't committed this new crime, I knew what he was capable of. He'd always been a monster. The chat exploded again. This family is insane. He's raising his own brother's family? That's beyond twisted. How did this guy survive them this long? Detective Miller caught my eye. The air between us was heavy with unspoken understanding. I took a deep breath. Tell me something, Mom. What day was it? The night of the crime? Your brother's birthday, she answered instantly. It was mine too, I said, a bitter laugh escaping me. We're twins. Or, did you forget? My father roared. Your brother was brilliant. Because of your stupidity, he spent his life underground, half dead. You don't deserve a birthday. And he was right, in a way, I'd never had one. Every year it was Aiden blowing out the candles while I sat in the shadows. Miller's phone buzzed. He sent a quick command to a tactical unit already waiting at my parents' home. Minutes later, the live feed came in. SWAT officers stormed the Cross residence. Police, drop any weapons and come out with your hands up. A hidden door creaked open, revealing a man in a wheelchair. His face was twisted, one side scarred beyond recognition. He held a remote detonator in one hand. Don't point guns at me, he said calmly. I'll make sure we all go together. Chaos filled both the house and the live stream. My parents panicked, snatching Miller's radio. Son, please. Don't do anything stupid. We'll make your brother confess. We have money. We can fix this. Just stay calm. Aiden, what about our baby? Mia screamed into the radio. The chat turned savage. A whole family of lunatics. Throw them all in the same cell and lose the key. Don't you dare kill Mango Man. I'm invested now. And for the first time I smiled. Not the bitter kind, but the empty kind that meant I finally felt nothing. They were no longer my family. Just then, the station door swung open. Leo strutted in, wearing a loud floral shirt that didn't match the mood in the slightest. Detective Miller, he said cheerfully, holding up a folder. I've got something you'll want to see. Evidence from 21 years ago proves the fire was started by Aiden Cross. And this, he patted the file, links him to the current murder. All eyes turned to him. He winked at me. Told you, kid. You'd be lost without me. Dr. Albright approached with new determination. He's right, Miller. The arsonist back then was confirmed to be left-handed. That matches the suspect in this new video as well. My parents looked at me in horror. That you're left-handed? The truth hit them too late. At the Cross home, Aiden's trembling hand gripped the detonator. Don't come closer, he shouted. We'll all go down together. Then, realization dawned on his face. Shock, disbelief. Bang. A single, precise shot sent the detonator skittering from Aiden's grasp. Officers immediately swarmed him, while a bomb squad expert carefully assessed the device. It was absurd in the most tragic way. Did Aiden truly believe he was still untouchable, still a child shielded by his parents' lies? The chat erupted. Bomb boy is a joke. Did he seriously think the cops wouldn't act? All bark, no bite. Classic. Family reunion at the station. Everyone's invited, love it. For the first time that day, I felt relief seep into my chest. Ignoring my parents, who were still shrieking Aiden's name at the monitor, I tapped Miller on the shoulder. You can shut the live stream down now. I think we're done here. The chat groaned, pleading for an encore, promising they wouldn't jump to conclusions next time. I handed Miller a USB drive. Full backup of Mia's phone from a few days ago. You might find something useful in there. Then I turned to the fruit stand owner and knelt. I'm sorry, I said, my voice heavy. If only I'd warned you sooner. Get up, kid, he said, pulling me upright. I don't blame you. If it were me, I'd have done the same to protect myself. His hand waved dismissively, but the dark circles under his eyes and the redness in his face told a different story. I'll cover all of your daughter's medical expenses, I said, until she's fully recovered. And may I visit her? In my last life, I had died before I could even see her grave. My parents were still glued to the screen, fixated on Aiden's arrest, oblivious as Leo and I quietly slipped away. I made my way to the riverbank, the water calm and dark, and screamed until my lungs burned. Why? 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 The river offered no answer, of course. Someone filmed it anyway. The clip went viral. Mango Man meltdown at river's edge. Later, Detective Miller called, his voice strained. Your parents are sticking to their story. They're trying to sue the department for corruption and bribery. That live stream saved my career and your life. I know, I said simply. That was the plan. Every critical move since my rebirth had to be done in public, under a spotlight. It was messy, desperate, and audacious, but it worked. Combined with the victim's testimony once she recovered, the case against my brother was airtight. I attended the courtroom for the verdict. The judge, her voice solemn and commanding, addressed the room. When a suspect must live his life publicly to prove his innocence, It reflects a failure in our justice system. Let this day remind us that we must strive for a future where truth prevails without spectacle. I recognized her immediately. She had visited me in prison during my last life. Evan, she had asked then, your record is clean. You work hard and stay out of trouble. Why would you do something like this? By now, I was broken. I had nothing left to defend. I screamed at her like a trapped animal. How should I know? The man in the video is me, but I don't remember doing it. My family never expected resistance. They just shouted, hurling curses and blame. I should have never raised a monster like you. You'll be spat on in the streets. We wasted our lives on you. Even Mia knelt, begging. Evan, they forced me to do it. I laughed. If Miller hadn't shown me the secret chats she and Aiden had hidden in some shared app, I might have even believed her. When I stepped outside the courthouse, the sky seemed sharper, the air cleaner. For the first time, my life truly began. I sold the old house without hesitation and moved to a new city. After everything, I took a year off. Life, however, has a sense of humor. Somehow, I ended up becoming a full-time streamer. I guess you could say I finally made a living off living in the spotlight.